Hello and welcome to a yoga session. My name is Eli Yoga. Thank you for taking the time to join me today. We are going to start off in a seated position with crisscross applesauce legs. Now, if this is uncomfortable for you, you are welcome to sit in a chair and perform some of these exercises with your feet resting to the floor. Just a little visual right here. This really helps with your posture. Notice that I'm not sitting back in my chair, but I'm sitting forward, and just a little bit of a side view. I'm sitting forward in my chair to promote proper posture. Let's focus on our breath. We're letting go of thoughts of the past, and we're letting go of thoughts of the future. Our eyes have the option to be opened or closed. Attempting to breathe through the nose, if possible. Realizing if we're having sinus issues, it's okay to breathe through the mouth, if necessary. Let's begin some movement, switching the cross of our applesauce. We draw shoulder towards opposite knee, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. One breath, one movement, body and mind working together, breath and movement matching. Let's reverse the direction of our circular motion. Some of us can go deeper than others, and that's okay. We return to a central location, sending our legs forward. And it's okay to stay seated in your chair here. Breathe and lengthen arms up and overhead, clasping our hands together. Breathe out as we press our palms forward. Breathe in, we lengthen our arms back up and overhead. Breathing out to release our hands by our sides. One breath, one movement, body and mind working together. Breath and movement matching. It's also okay to have your legs in crisscross applesauce. I'm going to add forward flexion. It's just an option, not an obligation. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose if possible. Embracing the flow of our breath, united with our movement. The next time we breathe in, let's keep both arms elevated up and overhead. Breathing out, dropping one arm down for an activated seated lateral flexion. Breathe in as we lengthen back up. Breathe out as we sink over to the other side. This particular yoga session, I'm going to try to focus on keeping the head above the heart center for the majority of it. I had one student that mentioned it was really hard for her to do a particular yoga session because she felt a migraine coming on. So I'm going to attempt to avoid sun salutations today. Avoid too much of down dog, and just work on a session that might be beneficial for anybody having sinus issues or headache or even migraine issues. Let's keep both arms elevated up and overhead, and let's release hands and energy to our heart center. We'll bring ourselves onto our knees if possible. Kneeling position. We'll straighten our right leg out towards the front of our mat, keeping our left knee bent. Kneeling side plank. Breathe in as we lengthen on up to our gate pose, breathing out to return to our kneeling side plank. And the seated lateral flexion is a great substitute if this movement is too much for you. Four more counts. 3. And let's hang out in our kneeling side plank. Dropping our right hand down. Breathe in as we raise our right arm. Breathe out as we lower. Maybe include the right leg on the lifting and the lowering option, just to lift and lower the right leg and not the arm option, to only raise the arm and not the leg, or combine the two together. Let's rest the right hand down. Keep the right foot lifted. Breathe in, draw the right knee into the chest. Breathe out as we press our right heel towards the front of our mat. Holding our right foot towards the front of the mat. Rest this foot down. Drop onto our right knee and straighten our left leg towards the back of our mat, dropping our right hand to the floor, left arm to the sky, kneeling side plank. Breathe in to our gate pose, breathing out to return to our kneeling side plank. One breath, one movement. Body and mind working together. Breath and movement matching. We find ourselves in our kneeling side plank, dropping left hand down. Breathe in to raise the left arm. Breathe out to lower, possibly including our left foot on the lift and the lower. Maybe just the leg, maybe just the arm, possibly arm and leg working together. Releasing top hand to waist. Breathe in, pull our left knee into our chest. Breathe out as we press our left heel towards the back of our mat. Holding this foot towards the back of our mat, we release our foot down, returning to a kneeling upright position. Let's breathe in, lengthen our arms up and overhead. Breathe out to release hands and energy to our heart center. We find ourselves in our standing position. Mountain pose. Breathe in, lengthening our arms up and overhead. Breathe out, we release our hands down by our sides. Opening our legs out nice and wide to our sunflower stance. Breathe in, we lengthen our arms up and overhead. Breathe out, we bend our knees. Continue to gaze forward, especially for sinus issues. If you were to drop your head down and look towards the floor as you fold those knees, you might get a little dizzy. So we're just going to keep everything nice and upright. Sunflowers. It's okay to drop your head as you fold those knees if that's in your yoga arsenal for today. You choose how deep you fold through the knee joint. We stay lifted at 5-pointed star, moon god. One breath, one movement. Body and mind working together. Breath and movement matching. We stay in our 5-pointed star. Let's release hands and energy to our heart center. We're turning our right toes to face the front of our mat, pressing our left heel towards the back of the mat. Let our T-shape arms for our warrior two arms. As we breathe out, we fold through our right knee joint into our warrior two. Breathe in as we straighten. Breathing out as we fold. Breathing in as we straighten. One breath, one movement. Body and mind working together. Breath and movement matching. Holding in our warrior two position, twisting right palm to the sky. Breathe in, reverse warrior. Breathe out our extended angle. Breathe into our reverse warrior. Breathing out into our extended angle. And let's return to our warrior two arms. Resting our hands down, adjusting our feet to our sunflower feet. Now turning our left toes to face the back of our mat. Right heel towards the front of the mat. Warrior two arms. Breathe out, folding into our left knee joint. Breathing in as we straighten. Maybe eye gaze towards our left fingers. Maybe eye gaze in my direction, depending on where you were looking on the first side. Holding in our warrior two, breathe in, reverse warrior. Breathe out to our extended angle. Breathing into our reverse warrior. Breathing out into our extended angle. One breath, one movement continuation. Body and mind working together. Breath and movement matching. Returning to our warrior two arms. Adjusting our feet to our sunflower feet. Breathe in, we lengthen our arms to the sky. Breathing out as we release our hands and our energy to our heart center. Let's shimmy our feet in. Breathe in, lengthen those arms back up and overhead. Clasping our hands together. Breathe out, press those palms forward. Breathe in, lengthen up. Breathe out as we lower down. Maybe breathe and lengthen on up. Breathe out, clasp, and maybe add a little chair squat. Breathe in, lengthen up. Breathe out to lower down. It's okay to eliminate the yoga chair squat. It's okay to perform this choreography seated in your chair as well, and just perform the upper body. We're releasing our hands down, a standing cat-cow, opening up into somewhat sunflower feet. Hands resting to the thighs. Breathe out, we round. Breathe in as we arch. I'm just going to give you a side view so you can see what's going on with my spine. Breathing out as we round, dropping the head slightly. Breathe in, arch into our cow, creating a C curve shape with our spine in 2 opposing directions. Let's bring ourselves back up. Finding ourselves moving into our warrior two pose, widening our stance. We'll go towards the front of our mats, turning our right toes towards the front of the mat, pressing our left heel towards the back of our mat. Opening our arms out to our warrior two arms, we fold through our right knee joint, sinking into low body, expanding back with our upper body, and we're breathing. Imagining that we have a friend tugging on each hand equally, lengthening those arms to the front and backs of our mats as we melt through our shoulders. Now let's straighten through our right knee joint, triangle pose. Breathe and lean towards the front of our mat. Breathe out, we drop our right hand to knee, shin, block, ankle, foot, or floor. Open the left shoulder to the sky. Maybe look up towards our left fingers. Maybe look in my direction. Extending up through the tips of our left fingers, and we're breathing. Let's return to our warrior two arms and our warrior two legs, sinking into low body, expanding back with our upper body. Windmilling our hands down towards the floor, stepping our left foot slightly inward, pyramid pose. Instead of sinking the hands to the floor, try to keep yourselves a little bit more upright, maybe even a chest expansion for the arms if balance allows, or an upside down prayer pose. Releasing our hands. Warrior three option, folding through our right knee joint, walking our fingers forward, raising our left foot to the height of our spine. Palms can face the floor. We can stay here with airplane arms or drop fingers to the floor. And as an acceptable substitute, from all fours, raise the left leg and the right arm into a spinal balance. We rest our left toes down. Adjust to our wide sunflower stance. We breathe in, lengthen our arms back up and overhead. Breathing out, we release our hands and our energy to our heart center. We're turning our left toes to face the back of our mat, pressing our right heel towards the front of our mat to accommodate for our warrior two. Letter T shape with our arms. We fold through our left knee joint, sinking into low body, expanding back with our upper body into our strong warrior two spirit. Sinking into low body, expanding back with our upper body. We straighten through our left knee joint. Breathe in, lean towards the back of our mat, triangle pose. Breathe out, dropping left hand to knee, shin, block, ankle, foot, or floor. Automatically press your hips forward towards the side of your mat, lengthening up through the tips of our right fingers, and we're breathing. We return to our warrior two arms. We return to our warrior two legs. Pressing through the outside of our right foot, and we're breathing. We windmill our hands down for our pyramid pose, stepping our right foot slightly closer in, attempting to straighten through our left knee joint. Maybe chest expansion arms, maybe upside down prayer pose arms. Possibly keeping the face a little bit higher than normal on a pyramid pose to accommodate for the concept of keeping head above heart center. We can stay here in our pyramid. If you'd like to join me for Warrior 3 or drop down to hands and knees for the substitute for Warrior 3, you can. Releasing the hold of our hands, folding through the left knee joint, raising the right foot off of the floor. Maybe airplane arms, palms face the floor, maybe full Warrior 3 arms. Firing up through the right butt cheek and breathing. Breath continuation, sending positive healing exhalations to whichever area of our body currently feels sensation, resting our right toes down, adjusting ourselves to our sunflower stance. Sunflower feet, breathe in, lengthen arms up and overhead. Breathing out as we release hands and energy to our heart center. And you can stay standing or you can sit down for a spinal rotation, and it's okay to sit in a chair as well. I'll perform this from a standing position. You're welcome to sit on your mat or onto your chair. For those of us that are standing, we raise our right foot off of the mat. We're going to be twisting to the right towards the front of our mat, and you can just twist with both feet to the ground if you're in a seated position. Sending our eye gaze over towards the front of our mat, right hand to the waist, left hand to the outside of the right knee. We could stay here in a limited rotation of the spine, reminding ourselves we limit rotation if we're pregnant or if we have back issues. Potentially sending our eye gaze over our right shoulder behind us. We breathe. And let's carefully return to center. We trade it out to the other side. Just a gentle twist towards the back of our mat, maybe raising our left foot, left hand to the waist, right hand to the outside of the left knee if that's in our yoga arsenal today. Eye gaze towards the back of our mat, maybe eye gaze over our left shoulder behind us to intensify our rotation. Realizing our rotation of our spine guides us in our digestive tract. Carefully we return to center. Standing mountain pose. Palms are facing forward. Shoulders are relaxed away from our ears. We breathe in, lengthen our arms back up and overhead, clasping our hands together, point our fingers to the sky. On our next exhalation, laterally flex to one side. Hips are pressing forward, maybe sending our eye gaze to the ceiling. We breathe in and we return to center. As we breathe out, we laterally flex to the other side, maybe sending our eye gaze to the sky. Continuing to breathe out as much as we breathe in. The next time we breathe in, we return to center. Breathing out as we release hands and energy to our heart center. Tree balancing pose, it's okay to walk back to the wall and have your back supported by the wall. Opening our right knee towards the front of our mat. Sliding our right foot, if balance allows, up our left leg, up to the ankle, The calf not at the knee joint, either above the knee joint or completely up our left inner thigh. And I might have worn incorrect pants today, we'll see. I might be slipping down. Potentially hands to heart center, possibly elevating arms up and overhead. I had to change my focal point. Hands may or may not stay connected. We can stay here, we can release back down, try out the other side. Realizing that we may or may not be as balanced on this other side, so refusing to compete within our right and our left side and accepting our bodies for where we are today. Maybe raising our left foot off of the floor, opening our left knee towards the back of our mat, possibly raising our left foot to our right inner thigh. Hands can stay where they are, maybe prayer pose arms, possibly elevating arms up and overhead. We carefully release. Standing mountain pose. Shoulders are relaxed away from our ears. Let's breathe and lengthen our arms back up and overhead. Breathe out, releasing our hands by our sides. So safely finding a way to get ourselves down to the floor. I'll drop down to my knees. If that's not in your arsenal, figure out a way, maybe using the assistance of a chair, to find yourselves in your seated position. I'm actually going to grab my shirt there and utilize it as a strap for today. So if you do have a yoga strap, that's great. Kitchen towel will work as well. Folding my left knee, my right leg is forward. I'm going to place my strap around the arch of my right foot. Stay here to breathe in. On the next exhalation, hinge that heart center forward. I'm just going to move into a side view here. So hopefully you can see that my head is still above my heart center. I'm getting a nice stretch for my right calf, my right hamstrings. It's not necessary to drop knee towards nose. By holding onto this strap, I can tug my heart center a little bit closer to my leg, but it's not necessary to drop my face all the way down towards my right leg. Carefully bringing ourselves up, switch it out, folding through the right knee joint, left leg goes forward, taking the strap or the towel or the t-shirt around the arch of our left foot and hinging on forward, breathing. Using the strength of our hands to assist us in getting maybe 1/10 of a millimeter deeper into our stretch. Creating space with our exhalations. We bring ourselves back up, both feet, straight legs forward, placing our strap around the arches of our feet. And if you don't need the assistance of the strap and you want to wrap and cap your fingers around your feet, go for it. Hinge on forward. Soften through your kneecaps and breathe. Sinking upper body slightly over lower body without the pressure of your full body weight onto your feet and legs. Today's word of the day is carpet. C as in cat, A as in apple, R as in rhinoceros, P as in Paul, E as in elephant, T as in tiger. Carpet. We'll bring ourselves out of our assisted forward fold stretch. Returning to a seated spinal twist. Let's bend our right knee. We could step our right foot over our left leg or keep it a little bit more simple. Maybe right hand behind the back, left hand to the outside of the right knee, maybe left elbow for more intensity. Sending our eye gaze over our right shoulder and breathing. Dorsiflexing our left toes, pulling the left toes to straighten like those toes towards your face and breathing. Let's carefully return to center. Switching out to the other side, folding through the left knee joint. We can step that left foot over the right leg if we so desire. Left hand behind the back. Right hand or right elbow to the outside of our left knee. Maybe look to the side of your mat. Maybe look over your left shoulder behind you. Always breathe. Dorsiflexing our right toes, pulling our right toes towards our face to intensify the sensation. We carefully return to center. Butterfly pose, soles of the feet to touch. Scooting our feet in if our flexibility allows. Maybe stay upright, possibly hinge on forward. Sinking face over feet, but head is still above our heart center. We bring ourselves back up, finding ourselves in our boat pose. Knees are bent, hands behind the hamstrings. Scoop through those abdominals like you have a medicine ball on your belly button so we have a rounded spine. You could stay here. If you wanted to release your hands, arms go parallel to the floor or parallel to the thighs. Next level, support the hamstrings, raise your feet off the mat. If this hurts your back, please rest those feet back down. Potentially sending hands back, arms parallel to the floor or arms parallel to the thighs. Maybe support the hamstrings and straighten the knees. Possibly release hands parallel to floor or parallel to the legs. Always breathe. We release feet down, hands behind our backs. Yoga tabletop. It's okay to substitute a fist for a wrist. Lifting our hips off of the mat, opening up through the chest. We can stay here. Maybe open up through the chest and look up to the ceiling. This might be a little bit too much for anybody with sinus issues, so it might be easier just to dip those hips down a little bit, but if you can, really tighten through the buttocks and lift those hips up, opening up through the chest. We release back down. Moving ourselves a little bit closer to the mat, and we can bring our strap or makeshift strap with us as we lay down on our backs. Placing the strap around the arch of our right foot. Pressing our right heel towards the ceiling as we tug our right toes in towards our face. The left leg, the knee can be bent, or we can straighten through the left knee joint and flatten it to the mat. Because of my back issues, I prefer to have that other leg bent. Let's open this leg out to the side, anchoring this left butt cheek to the mat as well. We return to center. Send the straps into your opposite hand, to your left hand. Twist your right big toes towards your face, right pinky toes to the ceiling. Hinge this leg slightly across your body. I've opened up my right arm to a letter T shape. You could even look over towards your right hand away from me if you so desire. We return to center. We trade it out. Left foot goes into our strap. Pressing our left heel towards the sky, tugging our left toes into our face, and our right leg can be flat to the mat or bent knee, up to you. Using the strength of your hands to tug onto that strap if we'd like to intensify this sensation. The head is no longer above the heart center, but we're not going to be doing a lot of movement. It might be advisable to have a pillow underneath your head if you are experiencing some issues, just to have that slight elevation while you're on your back. Let's open this leg out to the side, anchoring both butt cheeks to the mat. And breathing. Anytime you need to take a break, to take some water, feel free to quench your thirst. Let's return to center, twisting our big toes in towards our face, our pinky toes to the ceiling, hinging our legs slightly across our body, maybe opening the opposite hand out to the side, maybe looking at that hand. Let's carefully return to center. We're releasing our feet from our straps. We get to stay here on our backs for our modified pigeon pose. Placing right ankle onto left thigh. If you'd like to go into a regular pigeon, I think you're comfortable with performing that from your down dog, if that's okay for your body today. We're raising our left foot off of the mat, if that's okay for us. Right hand inside the hole created by our legs, clasping your hands around the left shin or the left hamstrings, using the strength of our arms to tug our leg a little bit closer towards our chest, potentially intensifying the sensation of our right booty, right piriformis. We gently release. We trade it out to the other side, left ankle to right thigh. Raising our right foot off of the mat, left hand inside the hole created by our legs, clasping our hands around the right hamstrings or the right shin. And we breathe. We carefully release. Preparing for a spinal twist, straightening the left leg, bringing the right knee into our chest, left hand to the outside of the right knee, right hand out to the side, letter T shape with our arm, pressing our left knee over to the right knee over to the left side of our mat, maybe sending our eye gaze over towards our right hand, dorsiflexing the left foot, pulling those left toes in towards our face, and breathing. We return to center. We switch it out, bringing our left knee into our chest, left hand to shoulder height, pressing our left knee over to the right side of our mat, maybe send our eye gaze over towards our left hand, possibly dorsiflexing the right foot, pulling those right toes up towards our face. Let's carefully return to center. Butterfly pose, soles of the feet to touch as we lay here on our backs. We can use our hands to apply pressure towards our knees or inner thighs to get those knees a little bit closer towards the earth. Let's return to center, rolling over to one side for a side lying dancer pose, folding our top knee, drawing our heel towards our buttocks, and we're breathing. Let's carefully release. We roll over to the other side. Sideline dancer pose. Releasing the hold of this leg, rolling onto our abdominals. Gentle cobra or upward facing dog. You get to decide, hands nice and wide down by our shoulders. Gliding our shoulders away from our ears, we can raise our face off of the mat as we keep our feet anchored into our gentle cobra. If we like, we can apply pressure to our hands and get more of a sensation of an upward facing dog. Breath continuation. We release. Back down. Rolling onto our backs again. Possibly hugging our knees in towards our chest. It's okay to keep your head resting, potentially rocking through the low back to promote a nice massage for the low back. But if you'd rather stay stationary, you may stay stationary. Releasing the hold of our legs. Straightening our legs forward. Let's reach our arms up and overhead. Now reach through the right side of your body, reaching through right fingertips and right toes, lengthening the spine. Now reach through the left side of our body, reaching through left fingertips and left toes. And reach through fingers, reach down through the toes. Breathe. Release. Drop those hands down by your legs. Turn your face over to one direction as if you're shaking your head no, but you're going to stay here on this one side, feeling the sensations in the neck. Let's return to center. Send your eye gaze over to the other side. One side might be easier over the other. Accepting our bodies for where we are today, in this present breath, in this present moment. We return to center, preparing to move through our muscle tightening before we enter relaxation. Let's breathe and tighten and squeeze every single muscle we have in our body, maybe raising body parts off of the mat. Breathe out, soften, release, relax. Again, breathing in, tightening and squeezing, holding on. Breathe out, soften, release, let go. Last time, breathe in, tighten and squeeze, holding on. Breathe out, soften, release, relax. Giving a good amount of time for relaxation today. You can allow your feet to flop open and your palms to face the sky. If you feel more comfortable with knees bent and soles of the feet to the mat, you may enter that supine position. If you know that a sideline fetal position is something your body would enjoy, feel free to lay on your side into your fetal position. If laying on your belly in a prone position would benefit the needs of your body today, having that option as well. This is your time to breathe. This is your time to feel. Final option, and I'm going to choose this option for myself today, is to scoot your body up towards a wall, bringing your buttocks to the corner where the wall meets the floor, elevating the feet up against the wall.
arms to your comfortable position. Let's safely roll over onto one side, returning to our fetal position. Allowing our bottom arm to serve as our pillow. Allowing our knees to fold up towards our chest. Possibly wiggling fingers and toes to help reawaken our bodies. Let's gently press ourselves up, returning to a seated position, and if you'd rather sit on your chair, you're welcome to do so. Returning to that circular motion we performed at the beginning of class as we breathe out, shoulder towards opposite knee, keeping our head above our heart center. Let's bring ourselves upright, switch the cross of our applesauce, and adjust to the opposing direction. Returning to an upright position, breathing in, lengthening both arms up and overhead. Breathe out, drop one hand down into our activated lateral flexion. Breathing in to center, breathing out to the other side. One more time to the other side. Breathing in, both arms up and overhead. Breathing out, we release our hands and our energy to our heart center. Thank you for taking the time to join me today. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.